Ooh, that sounds very nice. And leave Devontae Adams? You know? So, no, I don't believe that. I still don't believe he's going to go there. Especially, I could be wrong, so again, this is not about no prophesizing, because he's pulling the same old thing that Brett Favre did. Oh, except Brett Favre's like, oh, I'm retired. No, I'm not retired. You know, he's doing all that. But he's a spitting image of doing what Brett Favre was doing. But trust me, you can slide, Aaron. It don't matter if you slide with somewhere else, you're not going to win a Super Bowl. Look in my eyes. You're not going to win a Super Bowl. You're going to miss Devontae. So that's what I think about that. But the Packers are doing their damnedest to keep him. You know, they hired the one coach. They hired a coach, Tom Clements. He's been in the Green Bay organization since 2006 to 2016, the various coaching positions. And so he's very familiar with Aaron Rodgers as he was coming up and getting experience and stuff like that. So they rehired him. He was out of the league for a couple of years, Clements, and he spent a year or two with Arizona and developing Kyler Murray and stuff like that. So they just brought him back to the squad. So they're trying to, be like, hey, we brought your boy back, and stuff like. So everybody's both of the teams are lobbying. Even Denver. Denver brought in Nathan Hackett, and they're close. They brought him onto the coaching staff. So it's like, hey, you're pals with Aaron? Come on over here. And even put in like Ben Steele, which actually he's a person that he caught Aaron Rodgers' first preseason touchdown back in his back when he was a youngster. Caught Aaron Rodgers' first touchdown pass in the preseason by this dude. They brought the dude Steele in. So he tried. Both teams are like going all in. The thing is that Green Bay can basically, like, here, meet your demands. Here's a blank check. Fill it out. So it's going to be tough, and people are going to be talking about it, the kingdom come. I don't know where it's going to go, but I just, just another ploy to keep the NFL name in people's mouths. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think he's better off staying in Green Bay. You got people and things in place in a fan base that loves you. I'm sick and tired of this whole Russell Wilson type of thing in the offseason. He's going somewhere. I knew he wasn't going nowhere either. But if he does go to Denver, it'll help Javonte Williams more than anything. And that's only if Melvin Gordon isn't there. Dude, long in the tooth, but he sure enough held back Javonte this year. But because he's just more dynamic, I feel, with the opportunity that could be given. Also, Tyrone Wheatley is the head coach of Denver, so that should help Javonte Williams as well. No, it has nothing to do with Green Bay. Just wanted to throw that in there. Also, speaking of which, this whole Aaron Rodgers thing, Hall of Famer Terrell Davis, we all know him, stud running back for Denver Broncos. He said recently that he believes that this is the year that Denver goes all in to get Aaron Rodgers. And it looks like they are. It's like, if they don't get Aaron Rodgers there, they ain't going to never get him, because of the plays that they've made already, in the offseason. But, to me, I just look at it as like, that's wishful thinking. Like, what is Terrell Davis supposed to say? He knows that's their weak link is at quarterback. So he's just doing a little wishful thinking. He probably believes it at heart, but nevertheless, that's what I think. And mind you, with Aaron Rodgers, as great as Aaron Rodgers is, he has a pedestrian postseason record of 11-10. That's 500. That's .523. That is a terrible postseason record. Tom Brady would never. I know, but of course, he's a different story, Tom. But my point is, he don't really show up like that at the playoff times, as great as he is. He does great in the regular season, not so much in the post. Let's move forward. All right. Next on the agenda is Mr. put this in its best context? We're going to talk about NFL MVP of the 2012 season. Rushed for over 2,000 yards. Mr. Adrian Peterson. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Adrian Peterson. But unfortunately, we're not talking about Adrian Peterson in a good light today. This week, Adrian Peterson was arrested on domestic violence. Him and his wife was on their way back to their hometown in Texas. They had a verbal and physical altercation on a plane that was headed back to Houston. They went to some pre-Super Bowl festivities or something like that along the lines. So actually it happened a little bit before the Super Bowl. And he got arrested, got out on $50,000 bail, and he got a court hearing for June 16th. So he'll have to deal with that. Listen, Adrian T. Peterson is as much of a monster as he is, stays in shape. But hell, Terrell Owens stays in shape, but he don't get another chance. Not to say Terrell Owens can deal with these wide receivers, but I'm just like, but really that's the only reason AP was really giving it a shot, because he's such a physical specimen. But he's a shell of himself no matter what. But I pretty much think he's done, so it's like he's not, he got released on bond, but him and his wife boarded a plane, and I'm assuming obviously that it's Adrian Peterson's wife, so I doubt they're in coach. You would think they're at least in first class or business class or something, right? But they were just arguing and doing that domestic marital stuff and arguing and this, that, and it became physical to a degree. From my understanding, from a report that basically, the ring on her finger or something like that, and end up scratching her finger maybe because some little tussling was going on. It didn't seem like it was any fist thrown or anything like that. So, but at least that's not in the reports. But it's unfortunate for Adrian Peterson because, in my opinion, man, listen, the dude's just unstable. You got to freaking do better. You got to do better. It's your responsibility as the professional. Nobody's perfect, okay? Not even yours truly. But come on, I can't even say let nobody take you out of character because we don't know what Adrian Peterson's character is. And it's not a bashing session on it. I'm just speaking about what I read, what I saw reported. And at the end of the day, his wife, Ashley Brown, decided to not press charge against him, So that was his wife. And again, I like to paint the picture. It's very unnecessary, but I'm going to do it anyway because I like to. Ashley Brown was his wife, Adrian Peterson's wife. She's a black woman. Okay? Let's go back to 2013. Adrian Peterson's 2-year-old son was beaten to death. I don't know if you guys know this. In 2013, he had a son that he didn't know about and that was beaten to death by his ex's boyfriend at the time. I don't know if it was discipline. I just says beaten to death. His 2-year-old son. And he had just recently found out that he was the father of that child. Sometimes, it's crazy, but sometimes women be knowing, but then you don't find out till late, especially if a guy's busy, he's moving around and got his own life. But hey, so the first time that he was able to see his son, that 2-year-old son that was beaten by his ex's boyfriend, the 2-year-old was on life support. That was the first time seeing him, and the kid never made it off life support. So that would probably that would do something to a person. Probably whatever Adrian Peterson's upbringing was anyway, which you can kind of tell because also that dude that did that to Adrian Peterson's 2-year-old son that he had just heard that it was his son at the time, that dude was sentenced to life without parole. I didn't quite remember that because this story I'm going to talk about, which you all know, it actually superseded that. because of 2014, a year after his 2-year-old died, is when he was charged, when Adrian Peterson himself was charged with child abuse from beating his 4-year-old son with a switch or with a belt or something along those lines. I remember seeing the pictures and stuff, and yeah, they were pretty bad. Look, listen, I got disciplined as a kid growing up. You know what I'm saying? It's very common in the black culture, but I never got hit in the places this child got hit at. You know, so I saw pics and stuff, he's getting hit in the groin and posted. And it was disturbing to us too because he was light-skinned. So it made it worse because it showed more on his skin. And it was like, it's just 4 years old. I think that's a bit much. Even I felt that was like much. So the NFL promptly suspended him for a season, and he had to go through a decent amount to get back in. And hell, he was still in his prime, you know. So, but his 2-year-old son that got the year prior that actually had died, his ex's name was Ashley Doughton. Or Doughton. So Ashley Brown is his current wife, and Ashley Doughton was his ex-girlfriend. I'm like, this dude must love some Ashleys. Like, come on, dude. Like, what's the odds? You know, I know you go through some broads, and I probably would too if I had that bread. You know what I'm saying? But like, who comes into we'll be having two Ashleys? This dude loves some Ashleys, and Ashley Doughton's white. Yeah, so it's like. So his wife here is black, Ashley, then he got another chick, you know what I'm saying, she was white. I said, boy, you love you some damn Ashleys. Am I doing the research on that? Something wrong with you, AP. Maybe you just like girls with the letter A. Maybe. I don't freaking know, man. That's some unimportant deep diving analyst that I'm not in the business of doing. But yeah, but let me go back to his current wife. Listen, guys, I'm gonna tell you something. As I'm reporting these things, and I know it's not fantasy related, but we'll get into that content. But again, this is the weekly wrap up. I'm going to talk about aspects that's going on with things that's going on in the NFL, but I'm also going to I'm going to add my input. I'm not perfect, but I'm going to add my viewpoint on some things. And things you might rock with and things you might, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't care. No one should agree with what everybody says. Okay? I don't care if it's your daddy, your mama, your wife, your pastor. Y'all not going to have everything in common. You're not going to agree with everything. So trust me, if you don't agree with something that I say, don't take it personal. Just move forward, you know. So I don't want to trigger any of you all, because I'm sure if we had a sit down, we're very alike in some ways and very different in a lot of ways as well. So I want you to know that just because something comes out of my mouth, don't get triggered. You know what I'm saying? Because that don't mean I'm not a good person, or you know what I'm saying, or you're not a good person, or you know. So let's just not get tied up into emotion that we don't need to be having. So I just wanted to make sure that's out there. So Adrian Peterson, at the end of the day, as men, we have to learn to hold ourselves accountable. We can't be letting women manipulate our actions. And in this day and age of this culture, okay, you have to be, as a man, as a sound man, that especially if you're an NFL player, now you're taking care of your kids, you're probably taking care of extended family and everything. You built up an empire. Don't go letting some argument jeopardize everything you built. Now, AP supposedly, allegedly has, finance problems and everything else. But yeah, this is not going to help. I'm sure you want to get on with another team next year. So we have to be cognizant of that. Dudes play for Lions and the Saints and the Cards and Washington, along with being a stud in Minnesota. But you got to be better than that, So it is what it is. And with his current wife, his black wife, Ashley Brown, why the hell isn't her name Ashley Peterson? Her name is not even Ashley Brown - Peterson. She just said, no, we're going to be married, and we're going to get married, and I'm going to keep my regular freaking name. You got me bent. These dudes got to stop doing that. To me, when I look at it from the outside in, she didn't respect him. People might look at AP like, oh, yeah, AP, you tear me apart. But she didn't respect him. She didn't love him enough to even take his name nowhere on her freaking name. That says a lot. See, a lot of people be thinking, oh, he's Adrian Peterson. He shouldn't have to put it. Man, these women be fighting you these days. See, it's a difference because these women live with men, these men. So they will put their hands on you. Just like Ray Rice. Oh, just like that Ray Rice situation. Ray Rice got caught up. He was on the decline anyway with scrub ass. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? His wife freaking put hands on him. Not to say he should have put hands on her back, but my point is I want people to know that, man, these women ain't playing these days. I'm sure it happens, you know what I'm saying, in the white community as well, but these women have put their hands on you. They're not scared of you just because you're an NFL freaking doggone stud running back, you know. But you can't be provoked. Do better, Adrian Peterson, and everybody watching this video, please don't let nothing take down your empire and disgrace and throw away everything you built, you know. As men, we got to create legacies, and for not of ourselves, but the ones we have beneath us, and we need to do that and not jeopardize it at any freaking cost. Please, guys, control yourselves and govern yourselves accordingly. I want that from all you guys. Okay, now back to a little bit of Rams news real quick. Super Bowl safety Eric Weddle has recently called it quits for the second time. He's retired, as which he should. Dude got his ring. He's been a stud ever since he was back with the Chargers. That dude was a monster. I remember I had him 1 year in fantasy. And people say, oh, you had him in fantasy? How'd you have a safety in fantasy? Because I play in a couple leagues. Well, I've played in a couple leagues where you have IDPs, individual defensive players. So along with your starting roster, that's the standard roster per se, you also had to draft, along with the defense, you had to draft a lineman, a defensive lineman, a linebacker, and a safety. So trust me, it's just not the offensive side of the ball. It also put you into the defensive side of the ball too. Had you learn about defensive players, trends and things like that, tackles, and who gets you the most fantasy points. And Eric Weddle was always solid in his, especially in his tenure with the Chargers. So this is his second retirement. He's heading off to coach high school football at Rancho Bernardo in San Diego. So he'll be coaching some kids in his local area there. I'm sure he has some ties with that area. So that's what's up, staying with the coaching realm, and I'm sure he's going to be a bit inspirational and lead and a role model to those high school kids. So big ups to Eric Weddle, and congratulations to him as well. Also, DK Metcalf. Look, we know he just had foot surgery, but the dude is adamant about qualifying for the Olympics. You know, he says it's gonna happen. You know, it's for sure gonna happen. And we know one thing, that dude can get down the field. You know, and as fast as we see DK Metcalf, you know, he's a football player. You know, but these track stars are track stars. You know, and they're fast as hell. So he came up short qualifying for the 2021 Summer Olympics, but he said he's going to give it a shot and be ready for 2024 Olympics in Paris. You know, that's another solid good 2 years plus 2 years or so. So hopefully he doesn't lose anything, and plus he has to stay healthy. He said he's going to try for the 100 meter and the 60 meter, but again, he has time to recover, but he has to make sure he stays healthy as well. So hopefully that doesn't hinder him. I remember it was David Wilson that used to play for the Giants. I'm not sure if any of you guys are familiar with that. He had a neck injury. I know because I picked him that year in fantasy. He's supposed to have it blew up. Glassed out on me like week 1 or week 2 or something. And he ended up going out. He was fast. And he ended up, was running in the Olympics and stuff. I don't know if he made it, but I know he was doing tryouts. So you can be super fast in the NFL. You can be Tyreek Hill type speed. But you really probably ain't going to have much, not far as winning. I think Tyreek Hill might be able to qualify because he was one of the fastest in the NFL. It's not the fastest, but these guys, that's all they do is run. You know, that's their art. But that's the weekly wrap-up, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope everybody had a great week. Enjoyed the festivities. Continue to enjoy the weekend. If this is your first time, again, press like, comment, subscribe to the video, subscribe to the channel, And, hit the comments. I like to hear what you guys say. I like the fellowship and network inside, the comment area. If you do subscribe, make sure you guys share, because that's how I get exposed. You guys liking, commenting, and sharing the video. And I appreciate you guys for coming aboard. I appreciate you guys for supporting me. Again, let's push forward. I'm going to have content dropping soon, I promise you. I just want to establish some structure from this point on. So you will get a Sunday episode by noon. It's expected to drop noon, just as it'll drop today. And from this Sunday moving forward until the true fantasy season pops off. Okay? But let's have a good one, guys. This is Anthony Blake for Flawless Fantasy Football. See you later to the next episode.